Just want to say, Steve Forbes has had this completely right. Janet Yellen is the perfect example of modern socialism through the regulatory state. We'll get to the stock market, too. Joining us, John Carney, Breitbart economics and finance editor, co-author of Breitbart Business Digest, which is a must-read, and the aforementioned brilliant Steve Forbes, Forbes media chairman, editor-in-chief, author of the excellent book, Inflation. I'm just saying, Steve, all along you've said this, you don't have to buy the factories and the means of production. They do it through the regulatory state, and that's what Janet Yellen is threatening to do by guaranteeing uninsured deposits. And they have no authority to do that. There's no legislation to promote that, but they'll do it anyway. And the market, I think the stock market's rebelling against it.
I'm glad it is, because I hope Congress gets some backbone, starting with the Republican hearings that are coming up, to push back on that. Where do you have the authority to do something like that? Because that kind of guarantee does not come without price. And the price is more and more government dictates what you can and cannot do. You got an example of that with Signature Bank. Why are they so quick to shut that down? Because they're in cryptocurrencies, and the regulators don't like cryptocurrencies. So, and you all know what would happen if this happened in Texas, Silicon Valley Bank, and this was oil and gas, not Silicon Valley.
They wouldn't get a dime. They wouldn't have given a dime. They wouldn't have guaranteed even the guaranteed deposits if it happened in Midland, Texas. Seriously.
I think there's going to be a lawsuit about this because if you are a Texas bank, again, that that provides credit to oil and you're getting charged bigger fees now because they bailed out Silicon Valley Bank, you are going to sue the FDIC. Because you're going to say, why am I paying for your big bailout?
So that's the whole point. Yellen says, if we have to, we're going to guarantee all these deposits. Right. What she doesn't say, and what she lies about, is that it's a taxpayer bailout. Right? The banks have to increase. The bank's fees support the FDIC. Who supports the bank's fees? Right. I ask you, John Carney.
It's all of us who support the bank's fees.
Right.
And a sound bank is going to object to this. I guarantee there will be a lawsuit that says, why am I paying more to support the unsound banks of Silicon Valley when I am a sound bank in Texas lending to oil and gas?
That'd be pretty cool if one of those banks. I'd love to see a Texas bank.
I guarantee you, Larry, it's going to happen.
Steve Forbes' stock market just crashed today, 500 and something points. Why?
And it was across the board, S&P and NASDAQ as well.
Yep.
The other indexes were down as well. And the reason is they realize the Fed doesn't know what it's doing. And they're throwing out guarantees like confetti. And you had what happened in Switzerland, $17 billion of bonds suddenly get flushed down the toilet. And so shareholders get something. Shareholders are supposed to get the last thing, bondholders before. So they're making up rules as they go, and there's no pushback. And that's what the stock market is worried about. They write the rules as they go. And they're doing the opposite of what they did in the early 1980s when they had a terrible time. But we're cutting taxes, deregulating. The economy was starting to boom again. And that's what enabled the economy to go and fight inflation. When assets grow and liabilities don't, by golly, good things happen. But they're doing the exact opposite. So the market's worried, not just about what's happening here, but around the world. And not just with banks, but commercial enterprises. A lot of them took a lot of loans when money was free. A lot of countries did the same thing.
That's an interesting point. We'll come back and do that. There's basically right now, among the major economic countries, a global war against business. There is. You look around yourself. You look, every country. They've got left.
Britain, for crying out loud.
Well, they say he's a Tory, but he really sounds like Labor. All these lefties are running it, and they all hate business, and they've all signed on to climate change. John Carney, though, I want to ask you. I mean, you think the banking crisis is over? And do you think the authorities are on top of it? Because I think that's in the market, this fear that you may get through a day or two. That's not over. They can't even figure out First Republic. Now there's another bank in California that they're worried. I mean, really?
It's not over. And this is what we saw in 2008, where you realize, okay, maybe we solved the problem at one bank because we bailed that out. But then that just moves the focus to the next bank. And I think that's what we're going to keep seeing, because this is a problem. The unrealized losses at banks are tremendous because of the rapid rate that the Fed had to raise interest rates. And again, I don't blame the Fed for doing that. It's because of the inflation that the Biden administration
which the
caused.
Fed accommodated.
Absolutely
They were a party
accommodated.
to it.
Yes.
And by the way, John, you're talking about loan losses. You're talking about government bonds and mortgage-backed securities. What about the loan portfolio with phony Silicon Valley startups and, maybe more important, commercial real estate? Property values have come way down. That's going to be an issue.
I heard today somebody saying that they had a 50-year mortgage.
How much?
50-year mortgage from Silicon Valley Bank. Like that is absurd and crazy.
Was it the head CEO? Really? 50 years?
Yes,
I love that.
So a venture capitalist was saying he got a 50-year mortgage from for Silicon Valley Bank. I don't know. Maybe he was exaggerating, right? But what I'm saying
only
is
35.
they had sweetheart deals for a lot of these crazy things.
I know. I'm telling you, the loan portfolio is going to come under scrutiny. It's not just
Absolutely.
them. It's not, and the bond portfolio, it's not just them. And what the Fed is saying and this guarantee, the authorities are way behind the curve right now.
They're going to get sued.
That gets to your point about prosperity. If people felt the economy was going to prosper, this crisis could be manageable. But people see hard times again because the Fed doesn't know what it's doing. Crash the economy.
And I'm waiting for good politicians to start giving us a guideline on the prosperity. That's the thing. Steve Forbes,
Back
John
to the
Carney.
future, the 1980s.
Yeah, you know what? We had it right then. All we have to do is replicate it. Let's not make this any harder than it needs to be. You are so right.